Hello, everybody. Welcome to the NUFC360 Podcast, our weekly digest of everything going on with Newcastle United. My name is Will Dixon, and we are joined today by Mark and by Jack. How are we, gentlemen?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Good to hear. Right, lots to cover. As always, we're going to be talking about matchday tickets. We're going to be talking about the transfer window, and we're also going to be talking about pre-season. But we'll start with matchday tickets. It's been one of the topics of the start of the season. Obviously, season tickets going on sale pretty much snapped up immediately. 30,000 people waiting for 1,000 season tickets. And now just for matchday ones, the demand is still not going away. It even looks as though we may sell out a pre-season friendly, which I don't think I've ever seen before. Mark, what's your reaction to what we're seeing currently with matchday tickets?
It was going to be expected. The only thing that just frustrates me a little bit is the fact that this has been the process that's been in place before the takeover happened. That's what the process was. Season ticket holders and members got the chance to get the tickets, and then things went on to general sale. I think the only thing now is the fact that they're actually guaranteeing people. So whereas there might not be people who can afford the membership, but still want the chance to get to an individual game, the club's giving those people the chance by basically fencing off a small number of tickets. So really, it's a fairer system, because if you remember, you get a better chance. And then people are saying, "No, but season ticket holders shouldn't get that as well." Yeah, but they might have someone who wants to get a ticket as well. Yeah, so there's all those sort of things in play. It's a fair system because it's basically whoever's in the queue first gets it. It's not saying, well, season ticket holders get the chance first and then it goes to members, then whatever. It's members, and season ticket holders are members anyway. It's part of what you pay for in your season ticket. You pay for your membership. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah, it's going to happen. There's going to be an uproar over ticketing because of the fact that this is the demand, because one, we've been taken over, and two, we're signing players, and three, we've got a good manager, which I know all things which weren't happening last season.
Yeah. I mean, Jack, have the club made a miscalculation? Have they made a mistake in underestimating potentially about the demand that there would be for tickets? Do you think anybody actually really expected, the fan base to roar up like this?
I don't know. I think that, one thing that Amanda Staveley talked about a lot, so did me and Dad, before the takeover happened, was that the fan base was something that could be re-galvanized and re-energized and really propel Newcastle up the league because of our fan base. I think the demand is kind of to be expected, to be honest. Like, the club was just drifting for 14 years, wasn't it, really? Apart from that one season we finished 5th when we had the Europa League. Apart from that, it was just drifting. Players would come and go. There was no real direction. Now there is a direction. We don't know obviously what's going to happen this season, but whatever, it's miles better than what we had previously. So much better. So I think the demand was always kind of going to be expected. The season tickets have been snapped up, understandably. I think most games this season will be sell out. Obviously, your best chance of really getting to a game this season is if you get yourself a membership. Obviously they've got to keep 500 tickets, I think, every
or become
game.
a steward.
Or become a steward, yeah. Apart from you have to face your back to the game the whole time, but yeah.
Do you really?
Well, that's they're supposed to, but yeah. But they've got to keep 500 for general sale, and I've got to be honest, I think that throughout the season, unless we have a particularly bad start and maybe some things go particularly wrong, but I just think that St James's Park is going to be sold out pretty much every single game, to be honest. There'll be times when away fans don't bring many either, and we'll get those tickets for the away fans as well. It's just now the club's totally different. It's totally energized. People want to go again, understandably so. That's just, I think the demand was to be expected.
I mean, Mark, we've ever so slightly talked about, I think, on a negative note, really, that, there's displeasure about it. But isn't it good to see that in just a couple of years, or even just in the last season, we've gone from the club having to give away 10,000 season tickets effectively. And I remember that game against Leeds towards the start of last season. St James's Park was pretty empty considering how it is normally full. Isn't it great to see how many people now want to go back to see Newcastle again?
It is, but it's just one of those things that we're going to have to live with. We're going to have to realise, especially given the capacity that we're at. I think it's a bit too early in the day to be talking about potentially extending it. Yes, there's a demand for this season, but let's say we don't do as well as what we did, in terms of performances this season, and we'll continue that the next season. Is there going to be the demand and the hunger for tickets? Because it might drop off. If we perform like we did previously, there might not be the demand. People might not want to be coming to see it. So I think we're going to need to see a more sustained period of demand before the club and the ownership look into even the feasibility aspect, which again is going to cost money, before they put an outlay like that in. It's not just going to be a simple thing of snap your fingers and that's it. Also, if we are going to extend the stadium, there's the risk that you're going to be displacing fans, because there's probably going to be a period where some seats will not be available because of any work that need to be done. So it's something that needs to be looked at very, very carefully. But I would say for at least maybe now and the next season, you're not really going to see much change. So we've just got to hope that the demand keeps up and we'll continue to be popular.
Yeah. I mean, Jack, do you think there's much scope for stadium expansion in the near future?
I think, it's going to have to be something that's probably going to have to be thought about at some point. But I think Mark does make a good point. Like, this season, I think most people are obviously expecting us to finish in the top 10 at least, I think is the general consensus I get from fans around. And then from there, who knows? But I guess, at that point, you are probably going to have to start expanding it. You also, I think another thing we've got to consider is all the Saudi Arabian fans who are going to become, all the Saudi Arabian people who are going to become Newcastle fans now. I think a lot of them are going to want to come over at some point soon and go and visit essentially the team they own. And that's going to have to be something that's considered. It's got to be in the mind at some point, but then it's a case of, can we expand it? Or are we going to actually have to move because of the historic buildings, etc. around? Is the stadium maybe have to move further back into the park or something like that? It's all probably things that they are potentially thinking about, but I do think a lot of it probably depend on this season and what our crowds are this season. If it's 52,000 every single game, then you've got queues of 30,000 people trying to get season tickets, 30,000 people trying to get memberships. It's mental.
The question is exactly how many of those were actually genuine, because how many people have just logged on to see what the ticket queue was, and obviously they've then put themselves in the queue for that, so they become a number. So it might not necessarily be, let's say, 18,000 or whatever it was, trying to get tickets, but it may just be those people who are going, oh, let's let's see how big the queue is, and because they've done that, they've then joined. So it is those things.
Many
also,
of them, to be honest.
I can't imagine it was that many.
There's also the case of there's quite a few people who I know were probably on multiple devices.
Yeah, but even you're still probably only accounting for a few hundred. We're still in the 20s of thousands quite comfortably for extra tickets you could be selling there.
Yeah,
it's amazing the demand to see. It's considering that
it also puts in the argument of scrapping the 3 o'clock ban on kickoffs, and go maybe moving to like more of a streaming service. So fans who want to watch the team week in, week out can do so, and they're not going to be disappointed because they can't get tickets for the matches and that.
Yeah,
because that's the proof. You could have a streaming service, you would still have St. James's Park sold out, no matter whether or not the match was on TV or not.
Yeah, because that was the reason originally, wasn't it, for the 3 o'clock ban, is that they kept stadiums full. Yeah, I don't think they can have a problem with that with Newcastle anyway.
Not with a lot of teams, to be brutally honest. I think the a lot of Premier League teams now. I think this set of teams that are in the Premier League this season, Forest fans are going to want to be there. Leeds fans are going to want to be there. West Ham fans are going to want to be there. Everton fans are going to want to be there. It's just it's quite. There's a lot of big clubs in the Premier League this season. There actually is, with big fan bases. So,
but there's also teams where, regardless of a 3 o'clock kickoff, you're not going to necessarily get a full stadium.
Yeah, maybe some. But
Brighton, for an example, so there's times where their stadium hasn't been full. Man City, rarely is theirs full. You look at that. Yeah, there is like things like that where you look at that and you go, is it going to be something where blocking 3 o'clock kickoffs is going to help with attendances. I understand more in like the lower league aspect of it because the ticket sales is the lifeblood, and that's where you get your money from in terms of maintaining the club. But ticket sales in the Premier League, that
barely accounts for any of the money that they make.
Exactly. So in that one, it may be worth looking and going, right, do we maybe do the 3 o'clock shift, that one? It's just one of those things, that needs to be looked at there. But I think, might have been fine when it was introduced, but I think now
it is quite an old-fashioned thing. It is an old-fashioned.
Yeah,
exactly. And how many games are on at 3 o'clock anyway?
It's getting less and less nowadays, isn't it?
But what I do find mad is that if you live in America or Malaysia or India, you can watch
Australia.
Them all. You can watch all games. But if you live in the country where the Premier League takes place, you can't. And you pay for Sky, you pay for BT, you pay for Amazon, which I think someone's worked out. It's like over £1,000 a year. You don't even get to watch even half the games.
It's like DAZN. I think this may be a few years ago, so I might be wrong about it, but I feel like DAZN in like the States or it's Canada, where like £12 a month you could watch any Premier League game you wanted.
And DAZN in Spain, DAZN in Italy, all of them countries can watch the Premier League.
Yeah,
we can't. We can't watch all of it.
BOQ, Saudi Arabia.
Imagine the TV deal if they did 3 o'clocks as well. It'd be enormous. I mean, it's crazy when you look at the Premier League and you look at how much money is in it compared to the rest of the leagues around Europe.
You could scrap the TV deals. You could scrap your Skies and your BTs and your Amazons and launch your own streaming platform.
That has been mentioned. The Premier League Simon Jordan's told the Premier League to do that. So,
and it's something that would work. You have like a Netflix, you pay £20 a month, and you get to watch every single game for that.
Well, you have this already. I mean, in a way is that you have the likes of Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool. They all have their own setups that you pay a monthly fee for. But the only thing you can't do is watch the game live. But that is it, essentially. Apart from that, it's everything else is like their own studios, production. It's amazing.
You don't need that, man. Look at the content that we're pushing out this pre-season, and that's free. We're not charging a penny for that. Mind Fraser, winning a go-kart and still being the shortest man on the podium.
You can get all that stuff, but it's also that but if you had it's saying that the subscription service it's in place, all it needs is essentially the Premier League to go, yes, you can for X amount of pounds and we get X amount of that. You can stream the game on your own platform.
You could still technically have games that are through like TV, so there might be people who necessarily don't want to, and therefore you could still have TV deals with Sky and that. Obviously it'll probably be a lot less, but you could still have agreements where there's games on that. You might be able to then put games for free on like the BBC or ITV.
I do think when the next Premier League, I do think when the next Premier League rights come up to be renewed, I would not be surprised if the Premier League decide that's when they're going to launch a streaming service, because they've got to look around and know that that's the way forward. So I wouldn't be surprised. Or a partnership with DAZN. That's also something that could happen.
Yeah, it's the big thing in America, isn't it? You got NFL Pass, and I know people that watch it and they use it religiously, and it looks brilliant, and it's just everything you want on there. Anyway, to move away just before we get slightly too derailed off topic. We're going to move on now and talk about the transfer front. It's something that we talked about all summer, and we're going to continue to talk about it pretty much until the window closes. After a blistering start, it's all gone a little bit quiet on the transfer front for Newcastle. No big players have really come in. Plenty of links. And the last couple of days, we've seen Alexander Isaac of Real Sociedad be linked with a big money move to Newcastle. Mr. Diaby continues to rumble away as well. We have seen a couple of loanees move out of the club. We've seen Kieran Clark join Sheffield United and Jeff Hendrick join Reading just in the last couple of days. Jack, I'll start with you. What do you think is happening right now? Are the club just sort of assessing their options, or are they just trying to get some players out before we get any more in?
I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm totally confident in the club. I've seen a few fans who are panicking and what have you, and I do understand it, but I think that there's got to be measure of calm here. Compared to what we had last year, we didn't sign anyone by this point, and we didn't link with anyone. So the difference, I understand. I think what problem, like what a few people are maybe doing, is comparing what other teams are doing at this moment in time. And yes, I understand that. And West Ham have made some good signings, Villa have made some good signings on paper. Crystal Palace have strengthened. They're all teams we're probably going to be competing with next season. Leicester haven't signed anyone yet, but you'd expect them to sell some players and then get some more players in. We've strengthened the defence. The defence now looks fantastic, in my opinion. I think Nick Pope's a great goalkeeper. We were talking about Botman last time, me and you on Will, saying if we could get that done, that would be a real statement sign and beat AC Milan to him. I know he's not been cut by Holland yet, but he won't be long.
Yeah, almost certainly will be.
Yeah, he's got all the physical attributes. People say he's slow, but he's actually not that slow. He just played in a lower block, and when he played in a higher block, he's actually quite quick. So he's a class signing. We do need attacking players, and I've got total confidence that the club will get some attacking players in. We might not end up with Moussa Diaby, we might not end up with Paqueta, but they're like top players. Them, if we manage to get them, we're gonna have to break the bank, competing against other clubs who want them. It's a sign of the ambition that we've been linked with these players and are clearly interested in them. But I won't be surprised if in the end we do end up with players who maybe aren't that level, and maybe some fans are a bit disappointed. Like, I don't know, say Maxwell Cornet. He's got an £18 million release clause from Burnley, got 9 goals last season in a terrible Burnley side, let's be brutally honest. Looked like he was ready-made for the Premier League, in my opinion. And I think if we don't get Moussa Diaby and decide we want to spend the money elsewhere, say on Paqueta, then why not you go for Cornet, 18 million release clause? I don't see why that's not a good option. So I believe that they're working. Dan Ashworth is a superb operator. He's absolutely fantastic. He knows exactly what he's doing. Have you noticed since he came in, all the links just stopped, basically? Like, the few odd things get leaked out there, but it's pretty much dead silence. Like, Botman went silent for 2 weeks, and then it was within a day, it was like he's done. He's flying over Newcastle, medical, done. So I do think there's things going on. I wouldn't be surprised if by the start of the season we've signed at least one more player, an attacking player, maybe a striker or maybe a winger. But I'm totally confident in the club. I understand people are panicking, but there's a long time left in the window, and you've just got to trust that they've got everything right so far in the transfer window. I think we've made one bad signing. Chris Wood, people say we may be overpaid for, but he played his part in a team that were unbeaten for a long time. The only reason he didn't score more goals was he didn't cross the ball to him. So maybe, he could actually come better next season. He might get more goals. We don't know. So I don't think they've made a mistake in the transfer window yet. I've got full confidence in them, and that's my view on it.
Well, Mark, that was pretty comprehensive from Jack. Do you share his optimism?
Yeah, like I said, I think there's a little bit of realism. Yeah, people are still sort of having to go with the fact that Kieran Clark's went out on loan. Well, one, no one was going to pay for him because of the wages that he's on. 2, even if it means we're paying partial wages, we're still paying less than what we would if he was stuck at the club. And the other option with Kieran Clark is he's out of contract at the end of the season. So realistically, it's in essence a free transfer because we're not going to see him back. Same with Jeff Hendrick. I'm not being funny. Who's really going to pay money for him? No one. So, if we get him out on loan and there's even partial wages being paid, then that's better than nothing. We've had Isaac Hayden going out there, look, being a wonderful servant, but obviously probably not to the standard of where the other midfielders are that we're at. You then look at the facts that like Dwight Gale probably seems to be happy just sat there picking up his wages rather than actually going out and playing football, which I think is a bit disappointing. Yeah, as a footballer like Dwight Gale, you would have thought he would have probably wanted to go out there. I still think he might end up going out alone, and the club made the decision at that point to maybe pay part of the wages just so that there's a reduction. Yeah, anything is a reduction in the wages that we're paying these players at the minute. But you also look at the fact that I think, we're probably starting to where we need to strengthen, because Clark's going out the door. Yeah, Fernandez is probably going to be going out the door. So that's probably why we'll look to strengthen the defensive side of things. Then you're probably then looking at the next step and going, right, okay, well, we've got attacking, but then you look at the wingers and going, well, okay, but we've got Maxey who plays on the left. You've got Fraser who can play on the left. You then look at the other side and you're going, well, you've got Murphy who can play on the left. On the right, you've got Miggy who can play on the right. Whilst if we're looking at the last season, there may not be players that we're thinking, well, they're not really good enough. What's to say that Eddie Howe in pre-season doesn't do to a Miggy and a Jacob Murphy what he did with Joe Linton and Ryan Fraser and every single one else in the squad. Miggy'd already offered 2 goals. I know it's gated, so we'll not get too carried away, but he's scoring goals and that, and I'd love for Miggy to come good, because I just think it would be perfect for him. But that's the thing, so he might look at those games and go, well, actually, do you know what? We maybe don't need to preference maybe necessarily like someone like a Diaby, because we've got a winger in Miggy, and we've got someone in Jacob Murphy who can drop back. Ryan Fraser could maybe go over there if needs be. And they may then decide, well, actually, let's try and focus on a striker, because I actually think a striker is probably more of the urgency in that aspect, because you're probably going to get rid of Dwight Gale. You're then going to be sat there and you're going to be going, Callum Wilson, Chris Wood. Callum Wilson isn't going to be fit for a season. If he is, then I'll come to you at the end of the season and apologise that I got it wrong, but I will be certain that he will not.
Outlandish. I think I'm going to say some outlandish thing there.
No, but he's not going to be fit for the whole season, and I can't be confident that Chris Wood's going to deliver to the standard that Callum Wilson is. So realistically, what you need is you probably need someone who can do what Callum Wilson does, and then have Chris Wood as your Dwight Gale aspect, in terms of like backup in that sense. It's one of those difficult things, because you look and then think, but then if we bring a winger in who can, what I'd love is like someone who's versatile, who can be a striker and a winger. So you get like the both from them.
Isaac.
Maybe that could be an option that they've looked at. They might have went, well, actually, do you know what? By bringing Isaac in, we're basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone. We've got the winger and the striker. So if Wilson's injured, he'll play as the striker. If he's fit, he'll play as the winger.
Well, that was what Ekitike was kind of looking to be, wasn't
it? Do not mention his name to me.
But it's the same point, isn't it? He's a striker, but also could be played as a winger. I mean, Jack, what do you think's going to happen from now on? I mean, it's obviously Newcastle want to strength up front. The big names are being linked. The big money's being talked about. Diaby could be a £60 million player. Isaac could be a £50 million player. Is it maybe the fans are maybe expectations reaching a bit too high now, and that if it turns out to be loan for Amada Broja from Chelsea, as that's our transfer list, as people start being disappointed?
Yeah, I think unfortunately there would actually be a few people that would be disappointed in that. But if we got Broja on a loan with an obligation to buy, I think that's a great sign. I thought he looked class last season in a pretty bad Southampton team. He had all the attributes. So I'm interested in that one. And I think with West Ham going after Scamacca, that's looking quite close. I would think that if he's got a choice between Everton and Newcastle, I think he'd probably go for Newcastle. So I think that one's definitely one to watch, because Chelsea aren't going to play him next season. No. And he prefer to go out. So I think that's one to watch, definitely. As I said, I think Cornet, I do think we've definitely, if we can't get Diaby, I think he'd be the next choice. But I get what Mark said about the wingers. Like, I mean, Murphy last season, I'm pretty sure he hit the post about 5 times. I mean, he could have had quite a few goals last season if he could finish. So I would assume that Eddie Howe's going to be working on his finishing. And Miggy,
as long as I never see Jacob Murphy do another chip shot again.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not having that.
Delighted.
Not having that ever again. Yeah,
tries it every time.
Yeah, and then Miggy, we all, a lot of Newcastle fans love Miggy, and I think we're hoping that after that initial promise that he showed under Rafa, that this could be his season. So, it's in the end, if we didn't end up with a right winger, I think people would be initially disappointed. But if Howe works his magic like he has with a lot of them, then we could have 4 very good wingers in St. Maximin. Fraser's, I think people underestimate Ryan Fraser as well. In the Premier League, got the most assists in a season in 2015-16. Him and Callum Wilson linking up brilliantly. He just was played in central midfield for God knows how long. So I think, and I thought he was good. I thought he was good last year as well when Howe came in. So we'll have to see.
They kind of all had their flashes of brilliance at times. Miggy with the goal. Fraser had that spell, didn't he? Like a couple of goals and a few assists as well.
Yeah, against Brentford and Brighton and stuff. Yeah.
But the only issue is Fraser picked up the injury. Otherwise, he was on that run, and he had continued to improve. Miggy always worked hard, but just didn't really have the end product. But like he says, I think coaching, you'd probably get that into it. And I think maybe a run of games from, you could probably build that up there. It's also chopping and changing now. When he was in there, I think he had either Chris Wood or Callum Wilson. So, you've got different players up front. Obviously, Bruno was helping him with goals because obviously we're looking at more goals. So if he continues that goal run, great. Joe Willock, and this is what people. I think last year.
Yeah, people forgetting about Willock.
I think it was a write-off with Joe Willock because he had. Yeah, remember Joe Willock, Joe Linton, and Shelby were keeping Bruno out the side in that winning game, and then obviously Bruno came in, and poor Joe Willock was like, "Damn."
He didn't even play badly. He picked up an injury, didn't he?
He picked up an injury.
And that was it. And that was it. Yeah.
And that was it. And like Bruno was like, "Nah, I'm here to stay. Thank you very much." Sorry.
Sorry, Joe.
Listen, for me personally, I would love to see Bruno, Joe Linton, and Joe Willock as a midfield.
I think that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I do think Bruno will be the 6th this season, to be honest.
And then if you've got
people have gone in the fantasy football teams, get him out. He's not going to get goals this season.
I'm not you just look at Joe Linton's size even in pre-season. Yeah, the getting even bigger. He's an absolute monster. He's going to terrorize. Yeah, and this is the thing they said. To watch it. And like I said, watching, especially Joe Linton, and this is the thing that people need to remember. Yeah, when we're looking at all these players, who would have thought at the beginning of last season, Joe Linton would have ended up being our player of the season because of the transfer?
It's ridiculous.
So this is the thing we need to look at there, and that's why there's probably that little bit of quiet because we're taking our time. I'm looking at Elliot Anderson is someone that we're forgetting about. He might absolutely it up in pre-season, and we might go, well, actually he could probably play in like a forwardish position in that sense. So you could look at those sort of things. So it's all the things that we need to look at in that sense. So for me, you just need to watch it and look at that. Thankfully both games are going to be on YouTube, as long as you're in the UK or Saudi Arabia,
which is great from the club. It's not usually
free to watch.
Very often thing.
Let's just hope the streams are a little bit better than the previous ones that the club tried to do.
Yeah, I think pretty sure they will be.
Well, no, we'll keep you up to date with all the transfer news on NUFC360. Make sure to follow on Twitter.
They paid for 5G, the club this year.
We'll be Make sure to keep up to date with all the transfer news on NUFC360 on Twitter. We'll be posting everything, and I'm sure there will be some more players coming in before the window closes. We've still got 5th of August is the first game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 3 weeks to.
So we've got that time, and then we've got till the end of August, so the transfer window actually closes. So there's so much time.
Wilson just needs to stay fit for 3 weeks. That's all we're asking for. Right. Okay. Well, seeing as we've been talking about pre-season, why don't we delve a little bit more into that? Newcastle had their first game, a 5-1 win over the mighty Gateshead. I like seeing a return to this as well, that we're playing Gateshead in pre-season. We always used to do it. It would be nice if it was at the stadium, at the Athletic Stadium, but unfortunately no, behind closed doors. Newcastle won 5-1. Goals from Joe Linton, Sean Longstaff, Miguel Almiron got a double, and Matt Ritchie got the opener, in fact, for Newcastle. Sean Longstaff also missing a penalty. Mark, 5-1, it's a win. I was going to say 90 minutes under belts, but it's probably 45 for most of them.
I don't even think it was a full-length game, to be fair. I think that's probably why they played it behind closed doors. I think it was like a shortened game just to get the players like.
Well, it says on their time codes that there was like 89 minutes for one goal and 90 minutes for another.
Yeah, I think it was a full game.
So I think they just played two different teams. The only player that played 90 minutes was Cal Watts. Mark, I was going to say, comprehensive win. It is Gateshead though. So what are your general takeaways from that?
Are you knocking Gateshead? Yeah. National League North winners.
I'm sorry, Mike Williamson. Please don't come for me.
And if they've got a fair good, some good players. They've signed Tom Allen, who obviously left the academy. Owen Bailey, who previously left the academy. You've got Adam Campbell in there. Obviously, you've got Mike Williamson coaching them. Yeah, they're not a bad side, to be fair, Gateshead, and they're probably going to give a good test. It says something where we've won 5-1, and Eddie Howe's still disappointed because we conceded a goal. Yeah.
Mark, I appreciate you being very nice to Gateshead, but it was National League North.
So, the National League now, however.
National League level, but promoted from National League North.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, would have lost it under Steve Bruce.
No, we would have won 1-0.
So that's why we didn't play him for ages. That's why, because we would have lost.
Exactly. Steve Bruce was terrified. Yeah, but no, it's a 5-1 win.
Terrified of the heat.
Realistically, I'm not taking anything into the score because that game primarily was basically just to get the fitness levels up for the players and to just get them into the
rhythm.
Well, get into like the mindset and also get the body into sort of like getting back into like match mode. That's all that the game was. Probably the same as the two games that are coming up against Mainz and Munich. It's just going to be that. Probably when you get to like your Benficas in the two home game, that's probably when it's going to be a little bit different. You might see players playing 70 minutes, because that's when Eddie Howe's probably going to start to try and get that. He's probably going to play two different. My opinion is, I think he'll probably play two different sides in the two home games, and try and give both teams 90 minutes in that sense. It's just great. Yeah, you look at all like the preseason. They're out in us, Jess. So gone are the days of training at a university campus in York. With minibuses. And so like bussing them along. They seem to be enjoying themselves. They're putting them through a double session.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Jack, what have you made of what we've seen out in Austria with the players? I mean, it looks like a really nice place they're in. I mean, it's very picturesque. They've gone go-karting. God, they really are splashing out.
Yeah, it looks lovely. And I was listening to Dan Burns' interview before, and he was saying that the go-karting and stuff's just really nice for them to like do some team bonding and stuff, because obviously they don't really actually have that much time. When a lot of them have families, etc. It's basically training and what have you. So I think it's really important to go and do that trip to Austria. And as I say, I think obviously pretty much every team will play, apart from you could Mainz are a Bundesliga side, so they're no mugs. Benfica, obviously at Benfica, that's a big test, and then Atalanta are a very exciting attacking European team. So that's gonna be fun. And Bilbao are always a good team. So I think we've got some proper good pre-season challenges. Just touching on Gaeta briefly, it was nice to see Miggy get a couple of goals. I know, but it was nice to get a couple of goals. Nice to see Maximan releasing the ball early for both his goals. He wasn't holding up the ball too long. I
had to rewind that just to double check he did.
Yeah, he was just dribbling it just the right amount, and then he played the pass. Because if he does that this season, he could get 10 plus assists easily. Because he's got the skills to get past anyone. So it's just about that release of the ball. And Carl Darlow, don't know what on earth he was doing for the goal. There's a picture where he's stood on the edge of the box as the guy taps the ball.
I don't think the picture does him.
Yeah, no, the picture didn't do him.
He's ran.
No, I saw it. Like, where is he gone?
But yeah, I mean, I think Trippier played 45 minutes as well, so that was good as well. But yeah, we'll see more on Friday, I think, after the proper full week of training. But Gaeta
nice to see Kel Watts getting 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was nice to see Kel Watts getting 90 minutes. I mean, he's gonna go out on loan again, I would assume. But yeah, it was nice.
You never know if he impresses.
Yeah, well, he would take a squad place, wouldn't he? Because he's 22, I believe.
He would take a squad place, yeah.
Yeah, so he's probably. I think they said that he's looking at a championship loan, probably.
Yeah, and Elliot Anderson, obviously, Mark was mentioned before. I do think I got on loan this season, but I think it'll be a championship club, and hopefully a good championship club, and then he can have one season there, do what he does, and then he's back in the Premier League, and then he's in the Premier League for us from then.
There's still part of me where I'm like, loan to League Two last season and then to the Championship. Could you not necessarily do half the season at League One, and then if he's looking as if he's holding his own there, then jump up to go to another club for the second half of like.
Thing is, though, I think League Two and League One, actually the standard is very, very similar. Genuinely, you'll see League Two clubs go away to League One clubs and batter them. Like genuinely,
ones who get the levels usually stay up pretty comfortably. So
yeah, because a League Two club with some decent players will beat most League One teams, to be honest, just on form, really. So I think a championship challenge, maybe like with a Luton Town or somebody like that.
Like a proper, with a good manager, he can't be going to West Brom. I'm not on that.
it's probably bad. You can go anywhere.
You just want him to score against Sunderland.
Oh yeah, well, I don't think Sunderland level on loan, but yeah, he's not going to Sunderland.
No, the Anderson played against them.
Oh yeah,
could be a double agent. Yeah, Elliot Anderson, 16 own goals.
Could be a good one. I mean, Mark, just to kind of finish off on the preseason chat. I mean, I'm looking at the preseason that we had last year. We played York City away, which we lost. Then we beat Doncaster away 3-2. Then we drew with Rotherham 1-1.
Who scored the winning goal?
Was it Callum Wilson or Ryan Fraser? It was one of the two.
Right.
Not
Jeff
sure.
Hendrick, wasn't it? No idea.
Was it Hendrick?
Jeff Hendrick was put up front.
Yeah. Rotherham away 1-1. Burton away 2-0 win, and then Norwich 3-0 at home. I mean, we say the list that Jack rattled off there: Mainz, Munich,
and then it went
Mainz 1860 Munich, Atalanta, Bilbao. I mean, it's different kind of level, isn't it? Do you think it's going to actually help us going into the new season, having played against much higher quality sides?
Well, yeah, because it's going to give the players the tests that they need, rather than playing against, no disrespect, but not to the level of sides that you really
don't disrespect should. National League North sides, Mark. We've talked about this.
I'm disrespecting Burton and Norwich. But no, it is just that you're actually testing yourself. Like you said, Mainz, Bundesliga, Benfica, constantly in the Champions League, and then you've got Atlanta and Bilbao, some really top sort of like European pedigree that we're facing in there. And the other thing I'd also say is, look, don't get carried away if we beat these sides thinking that's it, right? Top four, here we're going. It's pre-season. Results mean nothing. We beat Norwich 3-0, and we still then struggled to win a league game for 11 games, when it came to the season. So it just shows pre-season means absolutely nothing. It's all just about getting yourself match ready. And the only result that's going to matter is come 5 p.m. on the 6th of August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, completely agree. Indeed. Well, I personally can't wait, and I'm intrigued to see who we get when we roll around to that day. And Nottingham Forest at home is going to be a great day, I think, because Forest fans be up for it, Newcastle fans be up for it. It's going to be a great occasion. But anyway, gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning. Thank you so much for contributing to all that and answering my hard-pressing, difficult questions. And thank you to everyone who was watching along and interacting with us. We really appreciate it. Make sure to keep across our YouTube channel and our Twitter as well. All the latest news. I know Mark's going to keep you all up to date on who could be coming to the Northeast and all the rumours surrounding Newcastle. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.